Hello everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very special episode. We're diving into a limited edition whiskey from the state of Washington. It's Woodinville 8-year bourbon. Holy shit, you never knew Woodinville made anything that old, did you? Did you? So big shout out to Ralph, aka the Professor. Thank you, sir, for the sample with the label, and it's printed and everything. Don't have to worry about handwriting. So this is Woodinville 8-year, was released in kind of late 2024. We do have a problem with the price. $130 for an 8-year-old bourbon. Just doesn't sit well with me, in terms of the price. But we'll try it out. Proof 100. Compute 50% alcohol by volume. Now, I think these might have been like distillery only / limited release only. These did not go everywhere Woodinville is able to be purchased. FYI. Now, my history of Woodinville is I didn't like it very much. I tried their port cask 4 or 5 years ago. Didn't love it. Was okay. And I've been a little bit shy of them ever since. Even though I hear they have good store picks at cash strength, things like that. I don't know. I've kind of always been leery of them. But here was an 8-year, the oldest they've ever released. This is it. The pinnacle of Woodinville, if you will. A few facts I'm going to have to read because they're just very specific. They did use heavily toasted and lightly charred barrels for this. So this is not a normal, alligator number 4 char or number 3 char. The staves of the barrel were air seasoned for 24 months, which is above the norm, right? So they've been doing some cool things with the barrel, right? They tested these barrels at the 4.5-year mark with a gas chromatography, little fancy piece of scientific equipment. And these specific barrels were found to have higher amounts of whiskey's favorite core compounds. I'm not going to read them, but it's like, the vanillin and all that other crap that's in there. Or vanillin, whatever. Something like that in the barrels to give it that extra vanilla flavor. And a few other things that just really bring about the good flavors in the whiskey. But at 4.5 years old, they found the bourbon to still have a weird slight graininess, which is really what Woodinville's known for, if we're being honest. So they let it age another 4 years. And the mash bill on this SOB is different. So most of their stuff is 72% corn, 22% rye, 6% malted barley. But this old 8-year here is 55% corn, 35% rye, and 10% malted barley. So the rye's up, the barley's up, the corn's down. And generally, rye gives more flavor. Malted barley I'm not a fan of, but it is what it is. They could have released it at barrel proof, but they didn't. They cut it to 100, I don't know about that. Now, other interesting facts here. Woodinville has announced they are now going to start an age-stated release. So this being the 8-year for 2024, they are going to do a 9-year in 2025 and a 10-year in 2026. So if you like this, and if we like it, we may be on the lookout for the 9 and 10-year. Color, I'm going to say damn dark for 100 proof 8-year. Just damn dark. It's dark. Darker than I would expect for watered down 8-year-old bourbon. Gotta say that. I mean, look, let's face it. Most Bookers ain't even 8 years old, okay? In fact, almost none of them. And they're 100-some doll hairs, but they're barrel proof. So, it's Woodinville craft, I guess. They're still a craft distillery, so 130 for this release isn't, it's horrible to me, but compared to some others, it's not unheard of, right? All right, what you want to know, how does it smell and taste, Bourbon Bill? Is it a buy? A lot of people have rated this highly. Will we? Just a lot of dense fruits on here. But it has like a pot still spice note that is present on the other Woodinvilles that I'm not a fan of. It's like this woody. Oh, it's malty. It almost smells malty. Like some of the Chattanoogas that I don't like that are too malty. I get that malty note here. I just don't like that note. Now, if you do, this is going to be so far up your jam. It's going to be unreal. But I don't like that note. But sliding past that, this smells deep, dark, rich, and delicious beyond that note that I don't care for. It's very fudgy. It's like raisins, fudge, plums, dates. Kind of reminds me of like Kings County Cash Strength, which is like 20% malt and 80% corn. That's what it reminds me of. So I can get past the kind of the pot still malty note on here. I could get past that. But this smells really phenomenal for 100 proof, gotta say. Down the hatch. Gosh, it's interesting. There's a weird note on the finish, like a tannic leather book cover that I don't like. But I'm going to say this about it. It's super dense. It's super complex. The flavors are immense for 100 proof. It's very coating. I think if you like Woodinville, this is your Super Bowl. This is phenomenal for you. If you don't like regular Woodinville, I don't know if this is going to change your mind. I really don't. There's a lot of fruit and like oak and a little bit of leather, which is really nice up front. I like that. Then there's this note on the finish. It's like a weird spice note. It smells like an old gym sock wrapped around a leather book cover. And I like leather notes in my whiskey, but this I don't. And I think it's the pot still spice combined with the higher malt content. Although 10% malt's not very malty, but you know, it has this. It's not for me on the back end, but I can certainly see how this was rated high by a lot of other people. I can certainly see why. This is fantastically done by them if you like their profile. It's so good for me until that finish. It's just like a potpourri. Something on the finish ruins it. And then that flavor sticks around. So for me, it's a not gonna buy, and I'm glad I didn't get a bottle because I would have felt compelled to drink it for 130 doll hairs, and it's not for me. But it's not for me personally. I think if you tolerate malt, if you tolerate pot still, spice, and I do in some areas, but this one's not for me. So I'm gonna give it 2 ratings. For Bourbon Bill, C-. For people that like Woodinville's flavor, and for people that like a little bit more malt, a little bit more pot still spice on their bourbons, A+ for you. So it got 2 ratings. I can certainly see why it's rated top shelf by a lot of other people, but for me personally, it's not jiving with me. So thank you, Ralph, for sending this in. I thought I would love this, even though I've hated Woodinville before, and this is probably the best thing Woodinville's ever done. I mean, this is it. This is a Super Bowl for Woodinville, but it just reinforces my opinion that I don't care for Woodinville's distillate, much like Willet. I hate almost everything Willet. So there you go. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Have a good evening, everybody.